Whoops. La 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 la. Alasdair Hall, welcome, welcome. Welcome one, welcome all. I don't know if my stream is working properly, but I imagine it is. Epic Metal, greetings. Twilight of the Thunder God. Do I have sound? I always have to check if I have sound because I have no idea what I'm doing. That's the sound check in the olden days. Damn, you some punctual motherfuckers. Hearing only on the left. Only on the left. That is... La la la, la la la. Well, I'll figure that out in time. For now, Buffalo Soldier will have to tough it out in mono. Hopefully, though, there's a little bit less tin in ye old voice because of technology. All right, going to cut right to it. There's a lot to do this morning in ye old VR. As you guys probably know, it's no longer any kind of secret. I'm doing a module, a full-blown, print module, and all of the art in it is done in medium. So that's whoa. So if you are planning on being like a player in that module, or you're the type who is sensitive to spoilers, you probably do not want to watch what is about to happen today, because I'm going to be sculpting the final map in that module. It won't give everything away, but you could consider this a pretty massive teaser about what could be in store. The idea is that I do the maps in medium so that I can both get a sort of an in-there view, as you guys maybe have seen when I'm doing my sculpture stuff. And then at the end of the process, I just slice the entire top half off of the sculpt, and then I take a top-down view, and then I process that into like InDesign and other stuff to get this kind of really new school looking D&D map kind of look. So that's what I'm going to be doing today on this kind of final boss fight room. Very, very cool. So it will give a little bit away of some of the themes that you're going to be looking at, but really the biggest and coolest, craziest parts of the module are not the ending. It's more the middle is the kind of the awesome part. The ending is a little bit pulpy, something you might expect. If you're going to do a boss fight, you might as well just go with all the old tropes. Yo, Hankrin. Yeah, we always do it for the dwarves, man. Hey, bon dia. Hola, buenas, amigo. Does that mean maps in the module will be captured from the... Adramir, the process that I've been using is a combination. So what I do is I get a capture of my medium work, and then I process it through a bunch of neural filters that I built, and then I do like a bunch of hand touch-up on it to get this very particular kind of look. And the only real big spoiler that has come out about this art style is, one, I put the lizard man from our 5e campaign up, and then also Scotty, without me knowing, put up the character portrait I did of him for our 7D system campaign that we're doing with DMG. So I actually have that sculpt. That's a great segue. This is like a local news quality level on segues. So we're going to hop right in, and I'm going to show you the sculpt that I did that created DM Scotty's character portrait. So let's just see if I can click the right button here. Let me push my little finger. Okay, there we are. So if everybody can now see, you should be able to see like my ugly mug and the chat stream and medium and everything, because I'm very, very slowly learning. Nimluth Lightshade, greetings right back at you from the great Space Coast, the northwest up here in the Cascades. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so let's just dive right in, and we're going to take a look at Pivel. And Pivel is DM Scotty's character, like I said, in the 70 system campaign that DMG is running, which is a blast, by the way. I think he's going to be posting those videos pretty soon. We're going to be playing, it seems like maybe once a month-ish. That's right, I think I just put you guys on the hook. I think it was meant to be a one-shot, but it was so fun. We're like, dude, DMG, this has to be a campaign. Okay, so let's hop right in, and we'll take a look at a couple of doodads. Okay, so this sculpt is, whoop, there he is. All right, so this is Pivel. So Pivel is the son of a great adventurer, but he never really meant to be a great adventurer. He just kind of, he's not really his mother's son per se. He kind of just wanted to live a normal life, but adventure came to him. And then during our first adventure, he found this helmet, and just by awesome dynamic storytelling, it turned out to be his mother's helmet. And she's like a high-level adventurer, so he wound up with this super sick helmet. Oh, God, that must have been so loud. Sorry about that. All right. So the character concept was a really simple set of garments. So he has like this cloth tunic with a few belts, you know, no real armor, no real gear at all, just got basic boots and everything. But then this super awesome helmet. So as a sculptor, I both wanted to kind of get a little bit of like what DM Scotty would look like as a sort of a young badass, and then also give him this super dope, like winged adventurer's helmet, or like sort of champion's helmet. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this sculpt and just the tone, and it's got a very D&D tone to it, which I really like. But it also is just built right from player action, not from some concept that I'm putting into the game, you know, and all the best things in D&D always come from, you know, like player concepts and how players imagine in the moment. That's all where all the goodies come from. But it's really cool. Even if you go way in here, he has this really awesome sort of stern look. It's really sweet. So really happy with this one. So yeah, awesome. So once again, like all of the character sculpts that you're going to see in my module, not only will they be processed into the print art, you can 3D print these things. So the STL files are going to come with the module, which is a little bit of a mind-blowing future world that has never been possible until now. So on that note, last time you guys saw me, how do I load things? I can never remember. You guys saw me working on Usk, the lizard folk barbarian from our 5e campaign. So I kind of finished him, and he's ready to print. And he also, during our last adventure, got this, the hat of disguise. And we were all joking around, and we're like, just, the hat has to be on the lizard man. So I put the hat into the sculpt, and here's the finished sculpt. So you guys remember when I was sculpting the lizard man last time, you know, getting into the, basically mainly the head and the upper torso. So here's where he wound up with his awesome hat. That's so great. Yeah, so again, fully printable 3D model that also will process into a bunch of really fun 2D art. But this is our lizard man barbarian from our 5e campaign. So eventually we'll get Shapeways hooked up and get this printed, and hopefully get it at the table, and maybe even paint it and get all that on video, and you know, document this whole kind of new way that things can be done. It's just amazing that we're in this. What a glorious time to live. I realized when I was filming the other day that I get this habit where I start talking like insanely fast. I get my energy level just like explodes. So I'm going to try to keep it chill. So if you're working on your game prep for tonight's game or whatever, then you can have some nice background mantra. But anyways, I mean, that came out pretty sweet, right? That's a pretty cool lizard man. And you know, he's like our big damage dealer. Well, not really. We have a wolf in the party too, who's brutal, but you know, weapon damage anyway. So I wanted him to be kind of burly and hodgepodgey armor, and then he's got his amazing hat. Hello, I am a lizard. You can't tell if I'm smiling or not because I'm a lizard. Okay, so anyways, that's Usk. the lizard man. Okay, now we are going to get to the task at hand. So I'm going to make myself a new scene here. And I got my cube. Whew, so this is where it all begins. So we're going to build first a big chunk of negative space. And, you know, in the world of VR, there's no such thing as big. Everything is big and everything is tiny because time, space, and size are all completely relative. It's something to get your head around. So you can start building architecture in a very basic way, which is by doing kind of this. So you guys can see, just made a big block, and then I'm hollowing out my block. So this is going to give me an internal space. And you know, this is like the old days of Unreal Engine where you would sort of work negatively. I think that was Unreal, right? Way back in the day, it was like that's how you made shooter levels, is you would hollow the world out rather than building the world. It was really cool. Okay, so now I've got my world there. I'll give it a little back wall real quick just to do my due dillies. You got to do your due dillies. Okay, there we go. There's the back wall. Cool, we have an indoor space. Then, once you got that space ready, okay, now another thing I want to do is, you notice how I started going into my light. So there's my light up there. I'm going to attach that to my sculpt. There we go. And then exit that mode. Okay, then we go, whang, whang, saying the Navajo word for giant. Okay. There we go. So now we're going to need some more resolution to make it work. And pow, we are inside a giant sculptable interior space. So like, whoa on that one. Now there's another method I can do, which I think I'll use this time, is actually blow up the geo. Like this. The only difference being this gives me lots of voxels to work with. Yeah, see there, I now have lots and lots of voxels. So the processing is the Alienware jamming a shitload of voxels into the model right now. There we go. So now we have, there we go. Now we have a very high density voxel space. Okay? So, you know, basic stuff, dude. There we go. Okay. Just testing voxel density. So when you work with medium a lot, you start to see, you can kind of see and intuit how many voxels you have and if it's how many you want and so on and so forth. So this may seem pretty raw, right? So we don't want raw things, we want cool things. So I'm going to start kind of working on it. So one thing I know is that I don't want a flat ceiling. The end of the module happens, of course, deep in the earth. So I'm going to get a ceiling going here that's cavern-like. I can tell you, I'm sure you can tell a little bit on the stream, but it is bizarre and awesome being inside your sculpt. It is so cool. This could never be until this year. Like literally this tech is a year old at most. And that's for the very earliest adopters. So I'm just piling in clay here to decubify my space. Right? I do want a flat floor because the forces of evil, they do have a sense for a certain style of architecture. Alrighty. You know, hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday. The work week is over for most of us. And even when you have a totally awesome job, that is a joy. Because there's nothing quite like freedom. There we go. So, get some heat inside my visor here because I'm getting excited. I can tell you guys, it is always more intense and more difficult to do this live. Because you don't get that, you know, art is generally a very introspective mode of behavior. So when you know that, you know, several score of your good buddies are watching, it doesn't feel as introspective and you tend to like generate a lot of heat. There we go. Luckily, the Oculus generates or contains a lot less heat than the Vive does, so there's a lot more air. Now I'm getting a little annoyed with how this spotlight is giving me this this kind of shadow here. I'm not digging that. So I'm gonna take this spotlight and I'm gonna kind of put it a little more like this. Actually, let's just remove it from the equation by doing that. There we go. There. Now the whole thing is kind of in a bland light. And that's going to work better for me. Yeah, nice. Okay. You know, sometimes a shadow can just really give you this sense of like, what is that thing I keep seeing? All right, cool. So I'm going to just kind of smooth this out a little bit because I don't want kind of all these voxel ridges in here. That's no fun. And Oculus just did a great update on the smooth tool, so it's much more precise, much more fully featured now, and it just is stronger. Very, very nice. So even on high amounts of voxels, it has a really good effect. Okay, cool. There we go. Here we go. Okay, my room is underway. Looking good. How do I know it's looking good? I have no idea. This is completely subjective. All right, but anyway, you get the sense of, especially if I'm down here at human scale, okay, great, yeah. I'm in a big chamber, it's got some rocky bits to it. Now, generally rocky bits are not made of such cubic components, so what I'm going to do is this little technique. I do some non-cubic rock formations. I'll show you how I do it. Not that I am any kind of authority on this, but this is just my method. So first of all, I'll get some bigger masses, right? That'll break, again, continuing to break the cube. Smooth out those masses so I don't get all those voxel ridges. La da da dee dee. There we go. Okay, then I go into negative mode, and then I just cut out these cubic components and create rock shapes. Like, yeah. And I do this a lot. You know, a lot of sculpts kind of ask for rocky bases to give them scale and to give them grounding, and so you wind up doing a lot of quick cubic rocks. You know, and there are rock stamps that come with medium and everything, and I don't know, I'd much rather do it this way. This way I know it was my hand that created it. My will. My nostrils. I breathed in through them and out through my mouth. The yogi way. All right. You, sir, are no Hanuman Langer. All right, there we go. Boop, 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 boop. And then last one. Boop, boop, boop. Whoa, weird rock formation. Doot, 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 doot. Decubify. Decubify. There we go. Cool. Boop. There we go. So you see how that kind of got me some rocky looks. By the way, if you're a medium user out there, definitely use trigger for off tool. It's very handy. So your offhand trigger will give you your whatever you set your off tool to be, which I use as smooth. Okay, airing this headset out because I'm getting excited and getting hot in here. Okay, so now we want the entrance. All right, now I'm going to probably take my photo from here, at least my in-world photo, like from right here, you know, like to get the Fibonaccian perspective. So I want to build at least a little bit of a hint of an entrance. So I'm going to do that. Sticking with my Vitruvian principles. Although when you're sculpting in VR, since it's not actual physical material, I guess the first Vitruvian principle, which is structure, would not really apply because you don't have to worry about structural values or the strength or thickness of pillars. Here I'm just doing some, you know, every awesome dungeon room has this kind of oddball staircase that leads into it, right? Very classic element of the genre. And has a couple of sort of pylons, and then there are pylons down here. Pylon is a generic architectural term for a sort of a movement marker. It's a walk here. What is slippery when wet in Spanish? Is it piso mojado or? Okay. Like I imagine your little janitor sign right there. It's just like, beware, mind weaver. All right. So this gives me a place to take my photo that has some human scale to it, if you guys see what I mean. Now, if I wanted to take it further, I might, kind of do this and take my photo through this arch, but I think it's just going to create too much crop. So I'm just going to do it like this. So I don't even need the rest of this room. Classic kind of diorama. So remember, this is what we're actually sculpting, is this hollow box. Just like in 4th grade when they made you make a diorama of where the red fern grows. It's a very similar mindset. Okay. So, we got the basic part. Now, before I crash my Alienware, I don't want to lose this work. So, we're going to call this attunement. Boop. All right. Great. Saved. Hey, the new saving speed up that they did is awesome. All right. Smooth out that. I don't like voxel ridges. Go away. Okay. Great. We are ready. So there's my sort of vista, my photo vista. My back wall is not very cool yet, but that's gonna be a whole, I'm really trying to stop saying a whole nother, because it's not even a word. And it makes you sound like Kesha, and I don't really want to sound like Kesha. So that will be another task for another moment. Okay, now part of the concept is that there's gonna be this floor up here. And I'm going to create that floor at this time. So I've got this round stamp here, and I think it's about, So even though I'm using the round stamp, I'm not just going to use it as is. I'm going to give it a little more character than that. Okay, and then whatever strange forces have created this architecture, this round thing has parts and pieces to it. Ritual architecture, or a sacred geometry as it is often known. Common belief in many cultures around the world that certain combinations of geometric shapes can actually induce or facilitate supernatural or religious experiences. Y'all know what I'm talking about with that. If you've ever visited any of the cathedrals of Europe or anything, you know there is some type, I don't know what it is, but some type of reality to that stuff. Okay, now there's also these 6. So you guys are wondering, like, are you just making this up as you go? But I actually have designed this whole room and all of the combat in the room and the mechanics and the descriptions and everything. So I'm coming into the sculpt with all that weaponry. So if it seems just like, how are you coming up with this while you work? Well, that's the answer right there. These are little plinths. There we go, there's my plinth. So you can start to see, that the third Vitruvian principle is beauty. And it doesn't necessarily just mean like there need to be curly cues on everything and the colors need to coordinate and you need nice drapes. I think the Vitruvian concept of beauty actually refers to things like symmetry, intuitive walk spaces, like where you're supposed to walk, intuitive entrances and exits, and a sense of grandeur that is not alienating. So we want to be a little bit alienating because this is a place of evil. But I still think that classic Roman aesthetics for architecture drive our overall response to say like, ooh, that's a cool space. We have a fundamental understanding of architecture built in from centuries of experiencing it firsthand. Okay, so here we go. I've got my basics. I'm really liking my basics. Now I got to get into a little bit of the more difficult parts and the details. So, there's a lot to do. There are 6 runes on this floor, and they're in alternating patterns like so. So there's a set of 3 and then a set of 3, like 2 triangles. And then I want to start cutting some etchery, or I don't know if etchery is a word. It really doesn't sound like a word. Okay. That's some bloody brilliant etchery. Have I mentioned, sir? I'm a great fan of your etchery. And etchery is actually where you incubate salmon. The local salmon etchery. There we go. Okay, then the other triangle is here. So I'm just using a cut tool that has a line constraint on it. Not being too uptight about exactly how perfect I do all of it. And then to avoid the sort of Star of David or any sort of familiar shapes, and this is a classic way that you do like evil, glyphs and stuff, is you take either a 5-pointed star or a 6-pointed star and then sort of break the rules on it by adding extra lines or parallel lines where normally there aren't any, and you start to get these kind of like, whoa, that's super evil, dude. Freaking out. Classic element of D&D is these kind of weird, glyphic freakouts. Okay, cool. So there we go. Now I'm just going to wear it down with time. There we go. So the ages have slightly worn the etching just by smoothing off the voxels. And there you got your, this is a lot like working in styrofoam. Almost exactly the same in how you cut and use smooth surfaces to your advantage and so on and so forth. These little plinths I feel like need some love. Like maybe some little cubic bits around there. Just a little too raw, too minimalized. So I hope this is giving everyone some soothing background. The more that I watch my favorite YouTube channels, the more they just function as this awesome background. Oh man, you can take your iPhone now with YouTube and turn on that new little beam button they put in there, and you can beam YouTube to like your UHD TV, and it is amazing. I was watching Mecha Gaikotsu on my UHD TV. Oh my god, it's so cool. All right, so there we go. There's our floor. We are ready. Now I think, I think I'll do the two great pillars on this layer. So I'm going to start adding some layers so that I can start doing some emissive effects, and I can do some more detail on sort of smaller objects and maybe do some close-up renders for later. But before I get into that, there's a mouse hole over here. There we go. We don't want mice in here. Before I do that, I'm going to do the two pylons. So part of the design here is that in this cavern at the end of this adventure, there is, of course, a cosmic rift, right? There always is. And the rough of it is basically like this, right? So it's a very common element, almost pulpy in D&D, is this kind of Stargate portal, right? I mean, we all seen it, we all know and love it. It's a common element in a lot of fantasy. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what myth has us all fantasizing about this massive two-pronged portal to another realm, but for some reason it is endlessly fascinating. So now, as you can see, I'm just going to relax on the sort of Vitruvian or Roman components, right? Now I'm just sort of drawing shapes that I feel are cool. And I still feel like I could use a little more resolution, but if I push this layer much further with resolution, it's going to explode. So I'm going to do another layer when I want to get into some real crazy detail. One of the portrayals of these shapes, these familiar shapes that I really loved, was in the first Borderlands game. They had those really neat curved alien shapes with like the sort of fingerprint etchings on them. It's brilliant. Such a cool conclusion to that game. Which wasn't even the conclusion, it was only the beginning. All right, so here we go. I want a little more sort of gossamer feel at the top of these. I don't want them to be so heavy at the tops. Coming around the back just to remove some weight. And then bevel this edge. Bevel that edge. There we go. Get that, alien kind of stranger from beyond time kind of feeling. And you can break your bevels like that to give them a little more character. You don't want perfect bevels, they have no character. There's a t-shirt. All right. Oh man, we've been coming up with a lot of great T-shirt ideas in our gaming groups lately. What was the one? Oh yeah, rocks are a fickle business. Freaking Dylan. All right. Cool. So you kind of got this horseshoe, which is basically like an energy harnessing structure. And now I just want to give it a little wear and tear. We're going to put some carvings in here and stuff. Okay. Then to back this, because this is going to be like, the cosmic rift right here. A person is about yay big. Okay. So to emphasize this and to give this some fun, I'm going to create this sort of symmetrical weird out on the back. It's like an oran or something. But actually, I think the symmetry is working against it. So I think it's more like something like this. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So it's this bizarre glyph that is far larger than the entire room. It's been here since antediluvian times. Cyclopean in nature and scale. There we go. And that will serve as a sort of a backer piece to the cosmic rift. So now we're going to do what I do, which is like lots of these little language implications. And actually, I'll show you. Here, let's have a brief digression. I got to show you guys this. So part of the project is I wanted these glyphs. And I wanted to capture them in different ways. So I actually made these 3D glyphs, and they're a real trip. Check it out. Look at this. So it's just a single emissive sculpt. But like there's a glyph, and then you go, and like there's a glyph. It's very Doctor Strange, and then like, isn't that sick? Like you put it on your hand like this. So there's a different view of the glyph, and like, it's totally awesome. Like you could never do anything like this before. I mean, I guess you could, but the labor involved. Ugh. Anyway, so this is how I'm kind of rendering some of the glyphs for the background art and the spells and stuff. Pretty dope, huh? So you can see the 3D-ness of it. Okay, anyway, minor digression. Minor digression. Let's go back to the attunement. Do-do-do. Hey, wait, I got to drink some coffee here. Oh, I got rotated. I started turning. Looks like the chat is moving along in a lively fashion. That's awesome. Yeah, I always wind up slowly rotating over to the left when I work. It's so weird. Okay, back to what we were doing. Weird writing from ancient times. And really all this is background to the cosmic rift. Aren't we all? All we are is just a background to the cosmic rift. This morning I was like waking up singing, we all gotta rise up. Yes, we all gotta live. This is just to get myself to wake the hell up. I'm sure you guys wanted to know that. Critical information for the tabletop enthusiast on a Saturday morning. So weird. Okay. There we go, cool. So you kind of have this like weird detail. Actually, the writing is cooler than I thought it would be. So let's just lean in on it here. Lean in being a dorky corporate term for do more work on. Saying dorky corporate is very redundant. We all gotta rise up. We all gotta live. 'Cause it's a brand new day, baby. All right, cool. Great. So, does this need a little banding on it or some kind of weird crap going on? Maybe some little tendrilless connectors. like it sort of grew here. Ugh. It's disturbing. It's easy to forget that this is supposed to be evil. Because I generally don't think about evil, scary things. I'm a good guy, man. I'm alright. I think about dwarves all the time, not mind flayers. There we go. Oh, TM. Sorry about that, wizards. They're probably going to take this video down now. Because I said Kesha and I said mind flayer. Oh, I did it again. All right. So what are these? I don't know. They just make it weirder and older and stranger. Cool. Okay, we're done with that little step. So now I have 6 statues to do. I have some rune work right here to do. I think I'll go ahead and do the rune work. So that involves some cutting first. Some like freehand cutting. So we'll do that. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop. I have no idea what I'm doing, by the way. I'm just kind of making stuff up here. Boop, boop, boop. I often do a right angle from the top right as my first stroke. I got to break that habit. Boop, boop. This is just a circle. That's how raw that rune is. All right. Boop, boop. Equal sign. Classic rune. Okay, cool. And I think we're almost ready for the detail pass. So we're going to finish up the carving on here. And I think I'm going to do it with something besides a cube so that I get some sort of interesting oddball results. Let's try this guy. It's just a little sort of curved brick. And I'm just going to kind of do these little cuts and nicks and just to give this some surface. You don't want things to be so dang smooth. Even in unknown Kadath, things aren't that smooth. They are smooth in the Mountains of Madness. That was one of the things that made the mind despise the Mountains of Madness, was the smoothness was so uncanny and weird. When I was a kid, I had to take like some kind of weird medication. I can't remember the name of it, but I was having like these chronic nightmares about being extremely tiny. And like everything was really big and sharp and cutty. It was really, really weird. But it was a lot like Mountains of Madness, where it's, you know, just geometry itself can actually be extremely unnerving. Okay. So the wall is covered with, in the description, what I was calling acoustic spikes. So how can I do an acoustic spike? I think, honestly, it is probably just a tapering cube. So let's just do that. Instead of using prefabricated shapes, let's see how this works. Yeah, so that would be one of the spikes. So I want to get it where it's like, there we go, disturbingly sharp. So whoop, there we go. Whoop, whoop. So if you guys have ever seen like an acoustic isolation chamber, it has all these spikes which disrupt sound waves. And I was imagining that this attunement room has these similar, these like resonance spikes. So what they do is they help to resonate the energy in this room. And they've been kind of grown there by geomagic. I couldn't even see that one when I made it, but I'm just, you know, if Dwayne Johnson can be the president, then I can draw an acoustic spike without looking. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, now you can feel the evil. Okay, so now we're going to reinforce these with some little guys. They can't all be big. It's called, I think there's an artistic term for size variety, a size relief. I don't know what it is. I don't know much about things. I'm more of a doer than a knower. There we go. Hey man, are you one of them doers? Because I love your whiskey. There we go. By the way, thank you, Bob, for the Lake Chelan whiskey. I've had it at work and I'm almost finished with it. It has been delicious. You know me, I love a good whiskey at work. Video pulled. All right, there we go. Acoustic spikes threatening at every turn. Things are awesome. Oh shit, it is on in here now. All I needed was a shit ton of spikes. Okay, good God, that is freaky. I don't know if you guys can feel it, but I am terrified at this point. Okay, I need to get this spotlight worked out because I'm still grumpy about how it feels. Jesus, that is scary as all hell. Now, technically, if the Cosmic Rift were down here, this is where the light would be coming from. Oh, that's intense, man. That is crazy. It's cool to get the highlight on the pylons like that. I think I want that. Look at this shit. So now the ceiling is the luminous part. That's a little much for my brain to handle. I don't know if I can deal with that. I almost prefer just this sort of flat light like this. And if I really want like these insane highlights, wow, that's kind of cool. Like that just, I can't have a bright ceiling. It just feels so freaking wrong. What if we, look at the madness. Help! I'm going crazy over here. I think that might do it. There we go. There we go. So we got some darkness on the ceiling. We got some highlights catching. We're definitely on the dark side, so the light is coming from the maelstrom. And we finally get to make a freaking stinking second layer. It's about damn time. To do that, I'm going to go boop like that. Beep, boop, 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 boop. That's not enough voxels, so let's make a sample. Got to get that taper off there. I don't want to make everything out of spikes. I may be metal, but I'm not that metal. Okay, there we go. So that's probably going to be plenty of resolution. Go away, go away. Everything makes the same sound. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So you can see that when I do a second layer, I don't get the same like geometric ambient occlusion interaction. See, I just get a cleaner interaction. Sometimes I can use the voxel density in my favor with a fast stroke to make stairs. Like that. It's kind of cool. Like somebody wants to walk up here, you know. Why, dude? Don't walk up there. You're just going to walk into the spikes, bro. All right, cool. Just helps to give it more human scale. Whew, what am I doing? I'm doing more rock stuff. Oh, and then these statues. Okay, so I need to get bigger and deeper inside of here. Deeper into the sound. Life goes on. I go deeper into the sound. I'm squeaky from. You know what I am going to do? Wow, it's so big I have to crawl over there. I'm going to add components here. You know, these aren't as complex as they had imagined them. Kind of want to get this land of the lost kind of feeling to things. I keep thinking I'm going to taper, and I've deactivated taper, so I need to get over myself. These are kind of shapes like how I imagine like the Fortress of Solitude kind of stuff. Right? And then, you know how I do it. I get my negative and I start cutting bevels on these to decubify them. Like so. And then like so. There we go. Okay, cool. Dude, you got to decubify, bruh. Okay. It just turns kind of into squiggles. I'm not into squiggles. But I might want some bands. There we go. And I love a good band. Where's Soundgarden at, dude? Okay. This level is not, or this layer is not what I expected to use it for. I'm just winding up doing some more like rock geometry. Because I need to do this stinking statue, and I need to clone them. So we're going to go new again, and get a little voxel sample there, and res it up. I'm going to res it up again, because I'm a baller like that. And then I'm going to kill this. And now I'm going to do a little sculpture. So I got to get really small in here. I got to get down to human scale. Whoa, what is that? Some weird effect. Okay. And then we're going to do this with ye old sphere. I'm going to make this frickin' statue. And here's where this is where your spoilers really are going to get started. If I do a good job anyway. You know what? I don't have to make it in situ though. I can shrink it down afterward. So I'm going to sit right here. God, this light is so harsh. It's amazing. Like, that's intense. I'm freaking out, you guys. I'm freaking. Right. Don't freak. Don't freak, bro. Keep it real on the hill. Okay, then we're going to do this. Ye old weird statue. Oh yeah, now you're going to start feeling it. Now you're going to get the funk. You're going to blaze the skunk. It's going to get crazy. Y'all going to be coal rolling. All right. So just using a sphere here to cut away clay. I don't know if you guys are still tuning in or if you care to even watch this happening. This is probably boring as all hell, but welcome to my universe. This is the work I need to get done this morning. Oh, that's my biggest... Yeah, okay, it's because I'm working at such a massive voxel size. Dude, your voxels are massive, man. All right. You guys watch this awesome video where Keanu Reeves is like training in like every form of martial art on earth? It's so cool. I don't fully understand the John Wick character, but Keanu Reeves is a baller. He has yet to master the Rush video with Paula Abdul. That's my favorite work of his. All right. So now we need a sort of a little more of a waist on this thing. So I'm just carving away clay, just trying to find a... I don't want to get too perfect with this like an actual character, because this is just a weird statue. This isn't a creature. It's a statue of a creature. Because that's how we do in the Western Hemi. All right. Here's this more on the plinth. I love the word plinth. Okay, now I'm going to get back into the tapers. Catching tapers. Do some of these. Cool. And then for the coup de grace, for the pièce de la résistance. Oh, now you know what I'm up to. The Mind Weaver. Dream Devourer. And you're like, hankering, dude, haven't you already done stuff with this guy? The answer is no. It's different every time. Okay, get rid of my taper because that's annoying. Cool, there's my statue. All right, now that is all I need. So this is a layer. So check me out. Whoop. I just sculpted at that scale so that I could, you know, be in there and feel it and get her done. But really the scale is like this. So that, remember, when I see this, I want to see that. Yeah. Now, go in here, dupe it, scoot it. Whoop, there we go. Scoot that sucker. Rotate it. Dupe it, scoot it. Now check this out. Boop, boop. I got all three of them. Oh, you hear the Alienware right there? That was awesome. It throttled. Although I lost one. What happened? Hey. There. Okay. I think I went a little fast even for the colossus that is this Alienware. Okay. Boop, boop. Let's try this again. Merge the selected layers into a bebop. Wait, it does not want to... It only wants to do 2 of them. So let's undo that. Screw it. Boop. Bebop. If there's one thing I'm good at in this world, it is pushing software beyond its limits. Whoa. Okay. Boop. Bebop. And one more. Beep. Bebop. Oh, you can feel it now, baby. Feel the burn. Wait a minute. Am I facing a weird direction again? Why am I sideways? What? These are totally not mind flayers, you guys. That's all in your mind. Okay. I'm probably not going to finish because there's so much work left to do, but I do want to show you what's about to happen because it's going to be cool. We are going to do the crazy stuff. Now, some of these runes, of course, are red, glowing with energy. You guys, and this is classic stuff in any good adventure, right? Whoop, oop, bebop. Whoop. Okay, then the others are blue. And you're just going to have to get the module when it comes out to find out why. Bebop. So these emissive layers, well, they're just that. They're emissive. Bebop. All right. Then we have the cosmic maelstrom. We're not going to make it that silly. Actually, yeah, we pretty much are. I go deeper into the sound. Life goes on. Okay, I think what I want is some of this stuff. Don't you give up? No, 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 I won't give up. No, 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 let me love you. Always got to remember to keep going counterclockwise. The spin direction of the devil. Because we all know clockwise is the way of truth. I'm sorry, DMG's toilet. Your toilet is the toilet of the devil. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. DMG is one of those crazy Southern Hemisphere types. Okay, now to give this some funk, some flavor, because you know we're all about funk and flavor here. We're going to scramble this thing. And my Alienware is going to get mad, but here we're going to do it anyway. So this is just a blender tool that just makes everything into chaos. So it's not quite getting, oh, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. There we go. Gotta make the sound effects if you want to do cool art. So I don't really like my color selection on any of this emissive stuff, but that's fine because I was just getting started. So I can get my old paintbrush and I can do it all white as a start. There we go, just to get my bearings. And I don't like all white, obviously, so I probably want maybe like this kind of true red. See how it feels. And then I can start airbrushing. Everything's evil. So instead of red and blue, I'll go yellow and red, like so. And then get my airbrush, and this is where things get weird, man. So I'm going to get a spray instead of a brush, down in hardness, down in opacity, just like a real light airbrush, and then I'm going to start going, Ho-chi-chan, Ho-chi-chani. So it's a little bit like fire, huh? In the description, it is sort of a gateway to the plane of elemental evil, but that's very fire-like. So I want to get into some purples. There we go. Like I was liking some of the raw color I had before. It was just too crazy. Then you get into a little bit of whites. Put a happy little portal to the elemental plane of evil here. Just a happy little cosmic rift. He just lives right here. This is your world. Make some decisions. Don't look back. There we go. Okay, then I'm going to do like all these little tendrils of energy, and we're getting ready for our portrait. So like, here's what the portrait would look like. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. But this is about where I would take my picture. So as you can see, I need some detail along the walls. I probably need a little bit of color relief. My spotlight is still kind of doing things I don't like on the floor. But yeah, I think you can get a sense for where things are headed here. Like, these spotlights just drive me crazy. I kind of just want to put it over there. There we go. There we go. I don't get all that disruptive information. And then we have like a close-up that we'll have in another image in the module, like down here. Like, whoa. And then I need to improve, you know, exactly how all that feels. But that is about it, guys. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to show you what my last step is, because it's kind of one of the coolest, most mind-blowing parts. So I'm going to go back to my first layer, the main cave layer. Get my clay piece, where's my trusty old cube, and then I'm just going to go huge cube. Okay, since I scaled my voxels up so big, that's as big as my cube will get. Now, I just do this. Boom! Screw all this work. Don't worry, I won't save it. Boom! Boom! Ceiling gone. Skadoosh! The secrets of old Kadath revealed. Boosh. Look at that. Merciless. Merciless hacking and cutting. Okay, now you want to get it pretty smooth. There you go. And then get rid of any leftovers or floaters, because they can confuse the view. And you don't want a lot of overhangs, because they can block the view. Like here. And here. And that spike can stay. And there you go. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. You're not needed. And then there you go. This is where I would take my map view. I mean, how sick is that? Can you believe that? It's awesome. So for a final step, you can take your spotlight and put it right here. And you'll get like a lot of relief on things. Or you can kind of, I don't know, the spotlight, because of this room has such weird light source, the spotlight's kind of driving me a little crazy. But that'll help the portrait quality eventually if I put it right there. But how sick is that? That's like your map view. And then I capture this and, you know, make it into a D&D map for a dungeon master to run the encounter. How sick is that? It's freaking awesome. As a D&D nerd, that is so dope. That is the sickest little, I mean, this is a lot like the spirit of dungeon crafting at the table, you know, styrofoam crafting and popsicle stuff, you know, Black Magic and Scotty and all those great guys, Wylock, who really pioneered this stuff. As someone who loves that stuff, this is amazing. It's such a dope little diorama, like, so cool. Now at a table, you wouldn't want a sculpture like this, because you'd be sitting over here as the player like, I can't see shit. I can't see shit, dude. But anyway, that is awesome. I'm feeling good about the sculpt. It's going to come out great. Yeah, so for now, that's about it. I do not want to save this, so I'm going to prepare to exit the rift. I'm probably sideways. All right, hang on. Oh, God. It's like coming out of a time warp. Okay. There we go. Let me put you through recursion for a moment. And let me just I'm the host. Hey. I'm the host. Oh, whew. Okay, great. So now we're back into normal mode. Whoops. Do I put that? What do I do? Oh yeah, it's just like that. Okay. That's it. Oh, there's my coffee waiting for me. Now I can pay a little more attention to your old chat stream. Yeah, so anyways, isn't that fun? I mean, yeah, you could do a recess table and you could do all these tricks to make something like that happen, but at the end of the day, massive sculpey work, massive amounts of styrofoam work. And I know that everybody has been asking me about my sculpture work. Am I going to get back to it? You know, am I still crafting for the table? You know, have I given up on 3D terrain because now I'm doing index card games and stuff? And like, man, hell no, I'm not giving up. Are you kidding me? I got to finish this huge beholder over here. I got 4 new Moloch rooms coming. It's just, you know, I'm only one person. So also, I got to go where the muse leads me. If I start doing work because people expect me to do work, the fun will leave the building and this whole thing's going to be over. So we don't want that. If you're programmed, no, man, hey, JP, I'm a program too, dude. I'm not the MCP. I'm not a user. I'm just a program. I'm like Clue. He's my favorite program. Yeah, so anyways, that's how I'm doing all the art for this module, which is, the working title is Flood of Fury. So it's going to be really cool, really excited. I hope that throughout the year people are going to start playing it when it comes out. And maybe I might be running it if I can talk somebody into it, maybe down at ATCon. Gonna go, I got my badge for GenCon, so if anybody's going to GenCon and you have a van I could sleep under, that would be really cool. So maybe we'll get some sessions out there. I don't know what the hell's happening. The future is constantly changing shape. How do you know how to do to know so many things, Antonio? People often, probably the question I get the most of all questions, besides how do I run XYZ encounter, is where do you get the time to do all this stuff? And dude, I don't have any more time than anyone else. I am slammed. Constantly slammed with stuff. So it's not a matter of talent. It's just constantly working on all this junk. It's what I do. I noticed somebody asking about the tattoos. My tattoos are just from Tolkien. They're the names of Glamdring and Anduril in Cirth, which is the dwarven epigraphic language. Anyway. Oh yeah, hey, that's a good one. Antonio, I can't tell you about the publisher yet because it's not absolutely certain, but I will as soon as I can. There have been hints dropped here and there. Xyle Ion, holy schmoly, I had this whole cool plan for a 15K video, and I think I'm still going to do it, but it totally snuck up on me. I thought it maybe another week or two. But yeah, yesterday the royal we, crossed 15,000 subscribers. That's a lot of subscribers. So yeah, I think it's just starting to snowball. We're adding 1,000 subs every couple of weeks now. Absolutely fantastic. I'm excited about that. Just because, I don't know, it's fun to gather. What's that? What? Dungeon World? Yes, bringing a couple cases of mead to GenCon. Oh, hell yeah, Chuck Cayley. Let's arrange as time approaches. Do you think you might do any more Dungeon World content in the future? You know, technically I never really did any content. I just was talking about how it was affecting my game. Really, the extension of the Dungeon World conversation has become Index Card RPG. Now, I know you guys haven't seen the core set yet and the rules of that game, but really that game was largely built from what I learned in Dungeon World, but also what I learned that I didn't want in Dungeon World. So Dungeon World is awesome. The user-created content in Dungeon World is absolutely fantastic and inspiring. Get on Drive-Thru-RPG. I don't care what game you're playing. And get like Perilous Wilds and some of those other cool Dungeon World supplements by that writing professor from the Midwest. Buy that stuff. That guy is awesome no matter what you're playing. What did Nordic Forge say? I don't know. There's so many things like sliding by. Thanks, Kung Fu Space Barbarian. I want budget this tech into a few. How much does my setup cost? Well, I got the brand new Alienware, and I got the Oculus and Medium. I'd say just get ready to spend like $2,000. So there you have it. But I knew that this was going to be my primary art tool throughout the next probably 2 years or so. So I just went for it. I also really want to I want to be at the forefront of this sort of home-created miniature revolution that I really think is going to happen. And so I made the investment. I went for it. ICRPG, behold the future. Hey man, our little campaign is going really well. I gotta say, it is fun. As long as your group is fun and you have fun being together, the reduced trappings of the game are really great. And my group's been awesome helping me refine it. So we're just gonna keep on playing that campaign until we feel that the game is fully gelled. Argentum, Patreon. No, I'm not really going to do the Patreon thing. I am done expanding as far as what I'm doing. I am bursting at the seams with things that I'm doing, so I don't really want to get into Patreon. I would love a tip in the tip jar, but honestly, the best way to support, if you really want to, is go grab a copy of my novel, or, well, either a novel or a copy of ICRPG. You know, get something out of your money, rather than just dropping your money in the tip jar for more videos. That would be my advice. Eventually, if things can come around enough, I want to demonetize my whole YouTube channel because ads are annoying, and I would really rather get revenue from those other sources. How much space do you need for that kind of setup? Oculus is very compact in its spatial requirements. Vive is bigger, but for Oculus, you know, I'm just in a small office room. And I really only use this space. It doesn't require any more space than a normal computer setup. Oh yeah, man, Dungeon Master, what's up? You wouldn't believe, traveling down to San Fran to the airport and everything, how many like airport security and other people, police and stuff, loved this t-shirt. They're like, oh, I know that little guy. Who is that little guy? Yes, ICRPG is related to the ICP because everything is related to the ICP. We're all juggalos deep down. We all have a little Godzilla inside of us, and we're all juggalos, and it's okay. Where can I get your novel? Antstar12. If you go on Amazon and search Runehammer, it'll jump you to my novels and my t-shirts. Hey, cool. Thanks for the purchase, Christopher. That's awesome. Yeah, Matt Colville really got traction on his channel. I mean, the dude is freaking handsome. There's just no two ways about it. He's like a cross of like, I don't know, like Orson Welles and George Orwell. Whoa. Jorson Orwells. I gotta have an NPC called Jorson Orwells. I got to. But anyways, yeah, Matt Colville's channel is great. He's really straightforward. He has a really fast mouth. That mofo can talk. Really cool channel though. He definitely knows his DMing. And he has some kind of connection with Geek and Sundry, which I don't fully comprehend, but has really given him a really big, awesome audience. He also has a couple of novels, Priest and Thief. A little different style with his writing than I have. I have a little more philosophical kind of poetic style. He has a very like action-y kind of sort of awesome pulpy comic booky style. But yeah, he's got a cool channel. I like how he does his stuff. It's just his eyebrows. I just can't stop staring at them. They're fascinating. He's like an eagle man. What got you interested in D&D in the first place? That's a great question. I was about 12, so that was 85-ish, and AD&D had just come out, so I wasn't really around for first edition, but when AD&D came out, I was just an avid reader. I just loved reading everything, and I'm not sure why or how, but I realized that RPG books were really fun to read because of their format, and I really got into it mainly just as a reader. It was only when I discovered GURPS that I really got into dungeon mastering and started creating my own games and stuff like that. But in the beginning, I would just get all the AD&D books and just read them like they were like textbooks almost, sort of. And it got me thinking at a young age. But I can't really say what got me interested in it. But what really cemented my interest is, the sort of the fear craze around D&D. That really made me think it was cool as a kid. Yeah, awesome. Another quick substitute if all your players can't make it. I've just recently been experimenting with this, and I've been working on a hero pool concept, and it works in ICRPG, is that you actually have a hero pool, and each night is sort of like an expedition, and if somebody doesn't make it, you can pull different heroes out of the pool, and you can do sort of derivations on what your story is so that your single group never misses out on their line, but you have sort of parallel lines happening. because something I've been realizing is it's more important to play on a regular basis than to make sure everybody can show up. Because when you postpone and you don't know when you're going to play and all this stuff, like I know Cyrus is just laughing at me right now. I actually think it just makes things more difficult. So I think it's more fun to just play every blah, and whoever can make it makes it, and then you kind of work from there. And as a DM, you just need to be ready for it. Plugging your Amazon. Yeah. Well, hey, you know, guys gotta grow, right? Yeah, Mud and Horn, Propra, that's the first book. The second book is Shield of Hanar, which people are just now starting to finish. A lot of excitement around that book. I'm really proud of the second book. It's got a real kind of a real epic tale. No, you know, I've gotten some of the recent GURPS books, JP, and they really went deep into the listing approach to RPG building, which is like, you know, let's list this out. There's this talents and these traits and these attributes and these lists upon lists upon lists, and I don't know how anybody could remember all that stuff. In a way, it degeneralized the game, and I don't know, it didn't, I just couldn't feel it. So I think, but in its day, it was massively revolutionary. It in a lot of ways was the dungeon world of its day, of how it just, not necessarily the greatest game, but an innovative, you know, mind breaker. Yeah, Zach Sabbath, Maze of Blue Medusa is amazing, but I haven't gotten to all that yet. I'll get there. I am going to read your stuff once I finish The Blade itself. Yeah. I was reading The Blade itself. That's by Abercrombie, right? I did not like that book. I'm sorry, Starships and Steel. I did not like that writing style. I know he's a really popular writer from the UK, and I just did not like it. How much money have you spent on drinking horns? What kind of bizarre question is that? Not that much. A few $100. The game has such an insurmountable... Yeah. I agree, JP. Insurmountable pile of options, analysis paralysis to the extreme. Which is strange, because GURPS really started its career as a let's simplify and bring it all down to the basics, and then it just became this pile of options and traits that are just hard to overcome. Nate Magnum, yeah, man, pick up a t-shirt, will you? What are your thoughts on encounter tables? Never use them. Not for me. I build my encounters, and I have spare encounters on the side if things go a little bit awry, and I don't build, I don't believe that randomness is the path to story. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, see you, Chris, man. What's the pyramid in the background? What? There's a pyramid back there? God, that's frightening. I don't see a pyramid. There's a pyramid? You mean up on the top shelf? Lies of Loch Lamora I have not read. Do you let your casters start with spells or gradually introduce them with magic? Hey, Daniel Anderson, in ICRPG I've been doing it, and it's my favorite growth for spellcasters ever, which is that all spells are found. That you don't get them guaranteed. In ICRPG there is no level growth, there's no XP. Everything is found. And I think it's much cooler. Drinking horns are a stable and growing investment. Yeah, you gotta get into the drinking horn market while it's still burgeoning. Tangent, I saw Gundam on your background. Built any good kits lately? My main project with that right now is a kit bash made out of an Apache helicopter and a bunch of old Gundam kit leftovers. But no, I haven't built. My last one was a perfect grade blue, a stray blue frame. What am I looking at? There's no pyramid. You're out of your mind. Oh, that thing. That is Pilly Pow's album from Black Magic Craft. He has this like dark synth freak awesome band that he is. I think it's just him, but his music is super killer. And there's actually an old cassette tape inside that freaky satanic triangle. Like the dude has multiple things going on. I've started drinking beer during my DM work, thanks to you. That was your own decision. Don't put it on me. Oh, yeah. Yes, you mean the rules cyclopedia up there? Why is everyone looking at my bookshelf, you weirdos? The rules cyclopedia is my favorite D&D book of all time. Let me. Oh wait, I'm tethered to the machine. Hang on. I'm tethered. It's like the abyss. I'm tethered. Must very carefully extract things from that shelf. You mean this guy? Boosh. Yes, Pillypow has multiple albums, Mappernomicon, and they're totally awesome, dark, crazy, badass, tribal, electronic, freaky metal coolness. This is my favorite D&D book of all time. I lived in this book. See, I have the whole inside of the book glued and taped up with tables, and then I was in this phase where I put packing tape on everything so that I could use dry erase on my tables. I mean, look at this. Dot matrix printer. This thing has been around this thing has been through hell. Yeah, what a great book. I've been DM's Guild picking up a little basic. Yeah. You've opened your home to a bunch of monsters. Nah. Y'all just a bunch of gilly-brained weirdos. Bunch of crooked-fingered monkey noses. Now that you mention the Gundams. Heavy gear on Mechton. Oh, when it comes to mechs in RPGs, I'm going to have to go Cthulhu Tech. Oh, cool. Crafting it up. Do it. Black Box is awesome. Thanks for your videos, your advice. You make a game. DM Rob C. Cool, man. Ready Player One, I have zero interest in. It's more derivative than Rogue One, for crying out loud. Its very foundation is derivative. I have no interest in it. I think it has cheapened everything that it builds upon. Basic get MacGuffin is a good start, Crixin. I have no idea what that means, but that is a really funny little statement. Thanks for giving. Rob, would you ever consider playing a game with other D&D YouTubers? Definitely, I am playing 7D System with DMG, Scotty, and Pillypow right now, and it is a blast. So a little announcement I was kind of saving, but what the hell, is that I did get approved for the Roll20 Marketplace. So everything in ICRPG and a bunch of unreleased content that I built is all going to be built into a Roll20 Runehammer store. And we're going to have a big-ass Roll20 Runehammer store. And it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to do probably a campaign on there this summer or so to, get all that content out in the open. It's going to be super cool. Roll20 is great when you use it in its most rudimentary function. So there's going to be Runehammer will be on Roll20 this year, and just tons of stuff to put on there. It's going to be great. All kinds of stuff from the Runehammer catalog. How do I handle when players get killed? Well, side quest time. If they really want that player to be in the campaign, got to do a 2-night side quest to go resurrect them. Got to be done. Yeah, Roll20 is really cool. Hawk Worley, don't get me started. Let's not talk about that. People get all weird when we talk about that. But no, I didn't. I will definitely buy that. Congrats. Yeah, it's going to be cool, man. I'm really excited about Roll20. I think there's a lot of opportunity there to innovate on the online playing experience. I think the online playing experience can be a little clunky when you expect it to be the table experience. But if you let it be the online one and let it relax a little bit, oh man, is it great. DMG, I really got to give him credit for his session we did with 7D System the other night. It kind of opened my mind up. We had a blast. Jeremy, yeah, man, games are fun because it's what you bring to the table that matters. Ex nihilo nihilo fit, my friend. You got to put your heart in it. ICRPG, that's pretty funny. Giraffozilla, if you go on Drive-Thru RPG and look for letters ICRPG, you'll find out. It's just a role-playing supplement that I put out, trying to capture my sort of Sharpie art style and get it to more people's tables. Yeah, Sir Aaron, sorry, those two things are not linked in any way. So if you bought ICRPG on drive-through, you're going to have to get the kit on Roll20. Sorry about that, but there you go. That would be cool if they were interconnected in some way. Pepsi or Coke? Oh, Coke all the way, man. Pepsi tastes like I don't know, like I don't know. It's not good. The thing that popped in my head that it tastes like, I'm not going to say. I got to remember, this stuff goes on the internet. Well, awesome. It's been great hanging out with you guys. I almost got the, I'm kind of glad that I didn't quite get the attunement chamber done because that would be a total spoiler. But you got to see some of my work method. You got to see Pivel's sculpt. You got to see Usk, the lizard man, and kind of get a little glimpse into how I'm going to be doing a lot of print art in 2017, in addition to sort of the Sharpie style. And yeah, that's it. I think it's probably time to go do my day. Unless, oh, right then another question comes in. When you build your world, do you start high level and drill down, or you start where the adventure is and build out? Oh man, second one. The latter, sir. Always the latter. The very first thing I do is get a sense for who my players want to be, and then I build the first night or the first two nights based on that concept. I just run with imagination that they're bringing to the table, and I try to just make the world about them. I don't even think about the rest. It doesn't matter. And as the time goes on and you want to push the epicness or something, then yeah, maybe you need a little more sense of what the wider world is. But it's all about them. It's all about the first night really needs to be about them and like hook them in. And that's how I do it. I don't know if that's the right way to do it. That's just how I do it. 3 nights a week. Damn, that is hardcore, man. You're going to be a master DM at that rate. A master doing 3 nights a week. All right, there we're getting some salutations. That's awesome. That means I'm free. Take it easy. Nordic Forge. Keep being awesome. Overly analytical. Yeah. Hey, man, that's part of being whatever this cool thing is of being a dungeon master, is that you do have an analytical, codifying mind, and sometimes it can run away with you. So you always got to remember why you're doing it, and remember to have fun. Good stream. Glad you made it. Mapronomicon, what's up? What type of 3D printer you? I don't use a 3D printer. I leave that to people who know how to use 3D printers. I have no interest in learning how to use one. It is a fine art, and I'm knee deep in other things. More like neck deep. Yo, what's up, Callie? What's cool? Okay, proo. Bye. End of the line. Great. Oh no, end of the line. All right, guys, that's it. I'm going to sign off. Thanks for tuning in for Sculptoons. Nice to have you. Next up, I think you're probably going to see the big Moloch video, which is basically a huge conclusion. 4 more rooms to conclude your Moloch campaign, which a lot of people are running. So, oh, hey, Sir Aaron, sorry you just got here. Keep up the good work. You too, man. Yep, you bunch of gilly-headed monkey brains. I'm out of here. Namaste. Strength, honor, beer, Saturday, live, ex nihilo fit. So put your heart in it. All right, I'm going to get out. I got other things to do, and I'm going to go do them. So keep it real. Don't steal. You always get a deal. All right. Now I wonder how I turn this thing off. I think I hit this little